Hello again. Okay, so we are on 1.1 day 3. We're still in the same section. We're spending 4 days on one section. You're welcome. Okay, so let's get in here. It gets a little bit more mathematical today, but nothing too challenging at all. We're going to talk about what's called a marginal distribution. Again, distribution is just a fancy word for displaying data. Okay, and so it tells you here that the marginal distribution, underlined because it's vocab, of a categorical variable. So now we know what categorical means. It does not make sense to find an average. Okay, so categorical variables in a two-way table, lots of vocab here. I'll explain it all down below, is the distribution of values of that variable among all individuals described by the data. You know, that is confusing. When you guys do a marginal distribution, what you want to focus on is you want to do a row or column total divided by the table total. And it's important, right, that you have a go-to thing that makes sense to your brain, because I'm going to ask you guys to do marginal distributions, and then eventually we'll do something that's called a conditional distribution. Just like all math classes, you guys, it's the vocab that's terrifying, right? If you don't know what marginal distribution means, you're scared. You don't know what to do. So you have to make sure and identify the vocab and learn it and use it so that when you do take an assessment, you don't get lost. Okay, so again, a marginal distribution is just going to be a row or a column total divided by a table total. So let's look at this data set, and then we're going to just do this one example, and hopefully that'll help you on the homework. Okay, so it's talking about cell phones. It says the Pew Research Center asked a random sample of 2024 adult cell phone owners from the United States which type of cell phone they own. Real simple survey, right? iPhone, Android, or other, including non-smartphones. Here are the results broken down by age and category. Okay, so look, there's a lot of numbers there, right? And so as a statistician, what we're going to try to do is to come up with a graphical display that is much more helpful than this, right? Because if you walk into a boardroom and you give your boss this table, it's like, great, okay, what the heck does that mean, right? And so let's go through and make a graph of something so that we can discuss why that graphical display will be so much more helpful than this. Okay. All right. So let's talk about our phones here. We've got iPhone, Android, and other. And then it's broken down into age group, right? You've got 18 to 34, 35, 54, and 55 and older. Okay. And then you have the total. So this number right here, 467, is the total number of people in all age groups, right, that own an iPhone. This right here, you guys, in this corner is your table total. Right? We talked about the fact that we surveyed 2,024 people. So that's your table total. Okay. So what's up with 637? Well, it's a total. Okay. And so this is the total number of people in this age group, 35 to 54, that own a phone. Right. So if you add up all three of these numbers, you get that number, which represents the total number of people who own phones in that age group. So there's a lot to unpack here, and it depends on what we're trying to portray to our boss if we're the statistician. Okay, so let's do the problem. So it says use this cell phone data to calculate the marginal distribution, underline, that's a definition, in percents, okay, of type of cell phone. So we are going to do marginal distributions of type of cell phone. Okay, so go start here. What are the types of cell phone? Well, we've got the iPhone, so let's start there. Okay, so marginal distributions, we use a row or column total. In this case, because they're asking us about iPhones, we're going to go straight across the table to our table total, which is 467 out of, I'm sorry, that was the row total divided by the table total 2024. Okay. All right, so we're doing a marginal distribution. And if you guys have your calculators, that's a good point. I'm going to have to make a post about calculators because we're going to need to get some. In this case, you guys have your phone, or you can just use your Chromebook has the Desmos calculator on it. If you divide these two, this is approximately, right, 23%. Okay. All right, so we now know that out of all of the people surveyed, approximately 23% of them own an iPhone. And that's just a fancy word for a marginal distribution. Okay, so let's do Android. Androids total are 503 out of 2024. And that will be 503 divided by 2024. You get 24.9%. So I guess the next question is, how accurate do I have to be? I don't care, to be honest. I mean, technically, maybe going to one decimal is good, but if you round it to the whole percentage, that's fine too. Okay, so we're not going to focus too much on decimal places and stuff like that in stats. We're just talking. We're going to focus more on being able to say something intelligent about the data. Okay, the last one here would be other, including non-smartphones, and that total was 1,054 out of 2024. And if you do that, 1,054 divided by 2024, you get 52.1% approximately. Okay. All right. And then, the whole point of finding those percentages is let's make a graphical display of the marginal distribution. Well, let's just stick with our bar graph. It seems to make sense. So let's do a bar graph real quick. And we've got labeled axes. This is type of cell phone, right? And then this is going to be percent. And we've got the iPhone, we've got Android and other, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then we're just going to do little estimates here. We're at 23, so right about there. And then we're a little bit higher for Androids. And then we're up here at 50 for other. Okay. And so we've done a graphical display of those percentages, right? And so, we're done with the lesson. So what's the point of this? It seems really easy. It is, you guys. Look, stats isn't supposed to be complicated. Stats is like people who don't like math, right, want a statistician to come in and make it really simple for them. This is not simple, right? Nobody wants to try to figure out roughly 467 or 470 divided by that. I don't want to have to do mental math to figure out that that's 23%. I want you to do it for me as the statistician. And then after you give me the percentage, I want a nice, pretty graph. So I can sit there at a boardroom and be like, look, clearly, right, there are much higher percentage, double, right? Double the percentage or more people using non-iPhone and Androids in this group, right? And so that becomes the issue at hand. Now, you guys might be thinking that this is crazy. Like every person you guys know owns probably an iPhone, right? Or a Samsung or something, right? But this other non-smartphones, like I don't know anybody who doesn't own a smartphone, and I'm old compared to you guys. So what's up with this? Well, remember, we only did a marginal distribution on the phone type. What if we did it on age groups, right? You might be able to see as we get into things, this conditional percentage would be, look at that, right? 643, right? In age 55 plus, out of all of those phones, look how much more of that age group owns a non-iPhone or Android. And so there's a lot more information that we can dive into here, but we're keeping it straightforward and simple. You guys are learning about marginal distributions, which will always be a total divided by table total, right? If we did these numbers here, again, it would be a different marginal distribution. It would be based on age, right? We did it based on phone. Okay. All right. We will finish up section 1.1 tomorrow with 1.1 day 4. Hope you guys are doing great. Take care.